All right.
All right. Oh, there it goes. All right, we are back. Another episode, nothing to something. This is always so cringy to do an intro, but you know what? I just do it anyways. Today we're joined by an old friend. I've not seen him in 3+ years. We were, decent friends on the track team. I wouldn't say like great friends, but we knew each other pretty well, and
Definitely.
we've gotten a little bit closer as time went on. Um, but Addison, I'm not gonna do last names because I don't know how comfortable you are with that. But Addison is on the show today. And what's going on, man? How are you?
I am good. Just got back from Pennsylvania. Um, going away for New Year's. Coming back, getting ready for work next week.
Nice. Oh, where do you work? You're at Gold's all the time, and then do you work at Gold's or do you work somewhere else?
No, I work at the elementary school with my little sister.
Oh, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
so today for people listening, this is another story day. It's gonna be about Addison and his journey in mental health. So, uh, I'm not sure exactly where to get started, but I guess we can start with when did you feel like it started getting tough? When you started feeling, because people have this spiraling sensation where stuff just one thing happens and another, and it's just like a giant funnel. It just keeps going all down until you hit, rock bottom. And
Yeah.
I've certainly been there, but I'm curious, when was that time with you?
So really, like, all of my mental health started when my parents divorced.
Mhm.
I don't really remember how that all happened. I just remember one day we were this big happy family, and then next, my mom's telling me, "Hey, we're moving to New York," and that kind of crushed me. Um, and really, like, the big thing that I get out of that, for a while, my dad didn't talk to me. It seemed like he didn't want anything to do with me. So I basically had an absent parent. I would see him over the summers and
Mm.
stuff like that. But that whole father figure was never really a thing for me.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really when I first started going to therapy. Um, and then my mom had gotten married to now my ex stepdad. He They met in Kuwait. Both my mom and him were deployed together, and he's the reason we moved up to New York. And he got deployed to Afghanistan in, I think, 2012 to 2013.
Hmm.
And he came back with really bad PTSD.
Yeah,
Um,
that's never good.
no, never. And he didn't know how to cope with it, so he would take it out on me and my sister. And whenever we would tell my mom, like, "Hey, he's doing this stuff, he's hitting us, like he's throwing stuff at us,"
Yeah.
um, she wouldn't believe us because it's his word over ours because we're 10 years old.
Yeah.
Um, and that it kind of sucked because I felt like my feelings were being pushed down the drain and no one was really hearing me. So um, with like that whole spiraling sensation, just not being heard and not having my feelings acknowledged, started really putting pressure on me. And I started having suicidal thoughts,
Yep. I've
and
been there. So it's not
yeah,
fun. It's not a
um,
fun time.
no. Um, so it's a really vivid time. I'd have really bad flashbacks. And once my mom started seeing that, like, me and my sister, we were telling the truth, we weren't lying. Um, she started picking up on it, and she eventually started the process for divorce.
Hmm.
Um, and then after after about a year of them just constantly arguing, being technically separated but still in the same house, We moved to Montgomery, which is where we're at right now.
Yep.
Um, and we kind of we wanted to like remake who we were or who we wanted to be.
Like a fresh
Um,
start in a way.
yeah, like
Okay.
clean slate. Just kind of because in Cornwall, I really didn't have like that many friends. I had a couple friends here and there. I wasn't like who I wanted to be. So
Gotcha.
when I came to BC, a lot of people in BC knew who I was before I even came here. I don't
Yeah,
know
that was
how.
weird. That's weird because I knew you before you got to the school, and I was like, I don't even know this kid, but I know him. Like it's just that weird thing where kids just know other kids and they've never even met him. So
Yeah, and I was kind of like, because everyone like started coming up to me like that, especially at like freshman orientation.
oh yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I, I had a lot of people coming up to me, and I was like, "Who are all these people? How did they know my name?"
Yeah, it's
And
freaky. It's definitely freaky.
yeah, but it was cool to finally have those people like coming to me and like actually wanting to have conversations with me and acknowledging that, hey, you're a human being too, because sometimes people need that.
Yeah, I tend to say on this podcast a lot, it's okay not to be okay. 'Cause it is, people don't accept the fact that it's a tough world. There are no
Yeah,
second chances all the time. You're just kind of dealt the cards and you got to play what you have. So, um,
yeah,
it's okay not to be
especially
okay.
like not to pull a stereotype because I see it on social media a lot, but as a guy, I'm gonna say it. We're all told to like push our feelings down, like
Yeah,
man up,
I
grow some balls.
I have voiced that sometimes, and yeah, as a guy, people tend to say, "Oh, just man up, just don't talk about it." And then when you start to talk about it, they just don't want to listen because you're a guy. No one cares. Um,
Yeah. So about I think it was April of freshman year. I started I started doing drugs. Started
mhm.
smoking. Started drinking, vaping. And I was all right with that. I always told myself like, oh no, I'm never gonna do drugs. Like the typical, you have dare in elementary school, and they're like,
Yeah,
drugs are
yep,
bad. But I started doing it. It was more of a recreational thing because I wasn't going to therapy or anything, so I wasn't busy or anything. So I just had the
yeah,
time to go smoke, sleep, eat. Um, it was junior year. We'll skip ahead a little bit because sophomore year is kind of a blur at this point.
I
Um,
feel the same. So
Junior year, I really don't remember what sparked everything that had happened. I know me and my mom had gotten into an argument because I was getting in trouble left and right at home. I got caught smoking a couple times, and it just that whole sensation of I don't want to be here anymore just came right over me,
hmm
and here we go again. I'm back in the hospital. Um,
yeah,
I went up to Saratoga, and it was a summer camp. They didn't care what you did. Like I was doing things in there. I was getting higher than I've ever been in the mental hospital. They were just
really,
throwing pills at us. Yeah,
that's
they would
crazy.
prescribe random stuff. They're like, "Oh, you have this? Well, here's this thing. It'll take that feeling away, and then it'll give you another feeling." And it
Oh,
was like, why am I gonna be here if you're just gonna get me addicted to something else?
yeah, yeah. I don't see that as a
Mm,
positive reinforcement. That's negative, if anything. But that's
yeah,
that's
and
that's
so
awful.
yeah, I was there for a week and a half. Time of my life because I was getting pilled up and all that stuff. And literally the day I got out, I went to my therapist and she was like, "So, do you still have these feelings of not wanting to be here anymore?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I didn't learn anything. I didn't do anything. I just sat there."
hmm
Um, and she was like, "Okay, well, looks like you're going back." and literally within 24 hours of getting out, I was right back in.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, and I was in there for a month and a half. Um, Worst time of my life.
Yeah,
Because
I would imagine. Yeah.
they actually took it seriously there. I went to a different hospital.
Okay.
Um, and I started getting some psychosis symptoms, started seeing things that weren't there.
Yeah.
And they basically told me, hey, that's because of your trauma. Um, and if we can start figuring out how to not forget about it, but to work past it,
Hmm.
then those hallucinations should go away.
Okay.
Um, that's really where I like first learned like, okay, this is what I need to do. Um,
It's like
Granted,
the
I didn't
first
do.
reach out for help that you received.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Um, we didn't really get too much work done with that while I was in there. I was more focused on getting high on the pills they were giving us and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, so month and a half later, it's March. I come out and I'm doing good. Um, I'm still smoking, but everything feels fine.
Hmm.
And one day I ran out of weed, and I remember that one of my friends in the hospital, he was like, "Oh, you can use over the counter to get high," and I was like, "Okay." So I went to ShopRite, grabbed a couple bottles of medicine,
Hmm.
and I started taking that every single night. And they went on for about a week and a half. And on the last night, I overdosed on 100 pill bottle of medication.
Oh man,
And
I'm really sorry about that. I can't say I wish I knew because I didn't know. But I'm glad you're telling me now. And there's definitely, to cut you off short, but there's definitely people out there who have a story like this. And you're not alone. I mean, I'll always be here to talk. It went from I knew you just as a name to I'm knowing your story. So uh yeah, that's just what I want to cut in and say real quick. So
yeah, no, that's all right. So yeah, I got put back in the hospital. I was there for another month. And I came out of the hospital, and everything had changed. Apparent or most of my friends weren't my friends anymore. I found out that pretty much everyone that I called like my close friends, they just told everyone what was going on,
mhm.
and it's embarrassing, because the way that everyone found out is one of my friends, he had heard it over the walkie-talkie for the ambulance, and he
Gotcha.
knew my house and my description, and um, understood that I was going through a tough time. He kind of put the pieces together and was like, "Oh, that's Addison," and
Yeah.
told everyone. And a lot of people that I thought were close just weren't close anymore, um, because I just couldn't trust them anymore. I couldn't trust anyone to hold my feelings safe with them,
Yeah,
and kind of
definitely.
be be there with me, um, to kind of get me through this hell.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's a living hell. Definitely.
yeah,
I've been in a similar I wouldn't say that situation, but I've been in a situation where it feels like everything and everyone just doesn't care. And you're just
yep,
like, I don't even know what to do.
yeah,
It's just this, you're just stuck in this one spot.
yep. So fast forward, a little after that, it's June of 2025. That's 2 years ago already.
Yeah.
Um, and I moved down to Texas because I think like, oh, my mental health will be better if I move. It's the environment, it's not me. So I moved down to Texas. Things are going good. I'm still smoking weed. Doing good in school though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I meet this one girl. Her name is Hunter, and she I met her through one of my friends that I've known for a while down in Texas. And she was like, "Oh, hey, like there's this drug called acid, and it makes you like see things that aren't there." And I was like, "Really?" Because I do that normally without
Mm-hmm.
drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, "No, no, 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 it's not bad stuff. Like, it's good, and like you can see beautiful things and kind of understand the world differently." And I was like, "Wow, I'm really interested." So my friend had rented a an Airbnb um, for us to go do acid, and we did it. I It was probably the worst time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of my friends had blacked out and did a lot of stuff that I can't say on a podcast.
Yeah, it's okay. You
Uh,
don't need to.
and So I was traumatized again.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and with that, I don't know what it is with drugs. I have a really addictive personality. I get addicted really easily. So,
Mm-hmm.
having that bad trip that first time, I was like, well, now I'm going to have a good trip. I don't care. I'm going to do it. So I did it again, and I just started doing it more and more and more, and really often. And, I was getting caught by my dad. Um, I was doing shrooms, I was doing pills, I was doing all of that. And, I had a really good future like set for me, and I decided that drugs were more important because I could be by myself and understand me and not have to worry what anyone else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it got to the point where I was like, well, eventually I'm gonna die, and like I'm born to die.
Yeah.
Because I really thought that like I had no purpose in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a panic attack, and spilled all of that information to my dad, and he told my mom. um, Thankfully, um,
Yeah. Yep.
and my mom, she talked to me. She was like, I have two options for you. Either you can go back to the hospital, or you can go to rehab. And instantly, I was like, rehab, because I'm not going back to another mental hospital. 4 times is enough.
Yep.
Should have only been
Definitely.
one. So I was looking at this website
Oh, just had an internet connection. Let's see. All right, you're
uh,
back. Sorry. It was just an internet thing, I guess.
where did I cut out?
Something about rehab.
Okay. I was on the website for the rehab, and it was telling me how you're in cubicles. There's 4 people in your room, and when you first get there, you get a buddy, and that buddy is supposed to help you like your first couple days in rehab and kind of get used to the process of being sober and kind of helping you get through that uncomfortableness of not being on drugs.
Yeah.
Um, so my buddy, his name was Jack, and he he really helped me out. Like I was going through withdrawals, um, physical, mental, and they told me like your first 2 weeks are gonna be hell. And I was like, oh no, I got this. I'm strong. I've been to the mental hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and they were like, no, seriously, like you're not gonna want to be here, but you need to be here. And I was like, okay. So first 2 weeks go by, it is absolute hell. Like I called my mom every single day, and I was like, Mom, get me out, get me out, get me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have signed myself out because I was 18, but if I would have signed myself out, I would have been stuck in Minnesota because I
Hmm.
didn't have any money. I was stealing to do drugs and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Um, so they had told me like it's a 3 week, 3 to 5 week process. Like it goes by quick. And then they told me I was going to be there for 2 months.
Ooh.
And I had never cried so hard. I was like, Mom, you lied to me. Like,
Yeah.
why is the world doing this to me? And I started having that feeling of not wanting to be here again.
Yep.
Um, because I felt like I had just been betrayed by like Satan.
But it
And
felt like family turned, even
yeah,
though it didn't in a way. It felt like it.
yeah, definitely. Um, so my mom was like, look, breathe tonight. Call me in the morning. Let me know how you feel. If it's the same, we'll work something out. And I was like, okay, mom. I woke up the next day, had the best day of my life while I was there. And I was like, Mom, I can do it. I'll be fine. And for the rest of the time I was there, I'd call my mom every single day. I'd be like, hey, Mom, like, I had a great day. This is what we did.
Hmm.
Um, Made some new friends. There's a new kid. Um, they're, Me and them have the same story. It's kind of crazy because in rehab, when someone tells you your story without even knowing you, it's like, wow, like I'm really not the only one.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, yeah.
and so it helped a lot. I feel a lot better. I believe I'm 4 days from 6 months sober.
Wow, good for you. That's
And
awesome, man.
thank you. Um, and I'm really excited to finally start getting back to normal. I'm going to school in a couple weeks, actually. And then after all this rehab stuff passes and mental health gets all figured out, I'm planning on joining the Air Force.
Wow. That's outstanding. I mean, you just that story, I don't know, that just feels like the most impactful I've heard on this podcast. I've done maybe like 15 episodes so far with different people, and I've never had something quite like this, but it's a blessing in a way, I just wow, it's a lot to take in, but I mean, I'm glad you're
Yeah,
okay and you're sober and you're pushing through it. You're a trooper, man. I mean, it's a tough world out there, but something out there, someone, whatever it is, it had a different plan and it said, "No, you're going to be good. You're going to be set." I
yep.
got a question for you.
I have an answer.
All right, that's good. Where are you going to school?
I'm just going to Ock for now.
Okay, that
I
that's
think I'm,
where that's where I went for my first semester.
yeah, I think I'm just going for 2 years, and then I'm gonna apply for the Air Force. And if they're like, no, you gotta wait a little longer,
Hmm.
then so be it. I'll wait a little longer.
Gotcha. What do you plan on studying there? Just general studies or?
I think mechanical engineering.
Okay, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah, that's really
I
cool.
really enjoy making nothing or making something out of nothing. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so I mean, it's really cool. Just being able to build things with pieces that are just lying around your house.
Yeah, it takes a big brain to do that, and I don't have that brain, so props to you.
We all have a big brain in something.
Yeah, we all have it in something. Um, I figured I'll tell you this a little bit about me. Bunch of people who have listened to this already know, but I have a bunch of depressive symptoms, anxiety, OCD, intrusive, suicidal thoughts, like everything, like kind of what you had, I had. Um, and it was very tough. Um, I've got to the point where I've thought about the suicide like really hard and like I just can't do it. I got too much stuff going on and I always made an excuse to get out of it because I
Mhm.
felt like it was just another person just like the devil on your shoulder, just poking at you like, hey, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
It's a pain in the neck, and you just want to brush it off, but it just comes right back on, and oh, it's awful. But um, yeah, I had that going. I went to therapy. It got better. I'm still in therapy. This is my fourth or fifth year. Um, it got better for me. I mean, it's different for everyone. I'm not gonna say you're gonna be good tomorrow or 3 years from now. I mean, you seem good right now, so that's great. But for me, it took around the third year to feel somewhat better about where I
Hmm.
was. Um, School was never my strong subject in life.
I do remember. I do remember hearing that.
Yep.
I've listened to a couple episodes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I failed out of college just recently. I had a 1.7 GPA. Uh yeah, it was not very fun to find that out that you missed I missed chemistry by 2 points passing, and
Oh,
it crushed me. I was like, oh, I have to take it over again. And I have to
yeah,
take biology and psychology all over. Like it was just a train wreck of a time.
yeah.
But I was like, I want to do something medical in life. And I was like,
Hmm.
I don't know what to do. And my dad said, what about an EMT? I was like, I don't even know if I got, all the time for that and, all this stuff. I made excuses. He's like, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. You're not going to make an excuse. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it. And then that's all I've been thinking about lately because my class is February 8th. It's coming quick, but I ride in the back of an ambulance. I drive the ambulance. I save people, or hopefully one day. And it's just different. Like there's always a different plan. You're not, because I was set out in school to get into the nursing program, you know,
Mhm.
graduate, be a nurse, go get my BSN, which is the bachelor's degree at a hospital, become a travel nurse, live my life, and then, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, I found out very quickly in about week 3 that is not going to happen. Uh, I was so confident it was, and it was like it was shot down. They said no, that's not happening. Uh, but yeah, that's a little bit of my story. I mean, like you said, you probably heard the whole story before. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I want to thank you for coming on and telling that. I can guarantee you a lot of people will be listening to this. Um, if it's okay with you, if I can spread the news about this, I
Yeah,
will. O-
perfectly fine.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to be that guy who's like, "Oh, here's a story," and he's like, "Wait, no, don't do that." But
Yeah, no, I've definitely learned to kind of ask people before I do things, especially being in and out of that hospital environment,
mhm.
because the whole confidentiality thing, and you don't want to start spreading someone's news if
Yeah, yep.
they don't know about it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you on this one. This isn't anything bad, but I did hear about your situation, a year or two ago. And the first thing that I thought to myself was whoever knows the story doesn't know the full story.
And that's exactly.
Whoever was told the full story or whoever heard it, however they heard it, doesn't know the full thing. And so many people were like, "Oh my gosh, why would he do this? Oh, I feel so bad for him." But they're all just doing it for like publicity. They're like, "Oh, I knew him. Oh, I know what he's feeling."
Yeah,
Like you don't. And that's why I didn't associate myself with that at all. Um that's why, I would have reached out, and in times I think I should have, but you had your own set path and you had your own thing going. And to hear that you came out of it by yourself, because ultimately I can't do it, your therapist can't do it for you. It's you. It's whether if you want it, you're going to do it. If you don't want it, you'll find out what happens next. It's not fun. So,
yeah,
um I mean, just thank you for telling everyone that story. That's a really big pill to swallow. in one shot, and you
Yeah.
did it. So that's nuts. But
Yep. Definitely gonna enjoy telling my kids that their dad is a psychopath.
yeah, definitely. Just be like, hey, Dad, what are you? Oh, I'm a psychopath. It's fine. No.
Yeah,
yeah.
going into school. My daddy's a psychopath.
Yeah. Oh, what did he do? Bad things. No, it's not. It's not all bad things. No, no, no.
No,
It's
I'm planning
learning
on
experience.
exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in like no regrets.
No
Um,
regrets. Not one. Not even a letter. Nope.
no, because without all of that stuff that happened, I don't know who I would be today. But with
yeah.
all of that, I'm me, and I'm on the podcast with Matthew Henry.
Hey, the kid from high school that some guys knew. yeah, but
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, I'm gonna start wrapping up the podcast. We can chat a little bit after if you would like. But thank you for again for coming on and telling everyone tough but definitely blessing of a story. It
yeah,
touched
no
me,
problem.
so I loved it, and um, I can't wait to see
Yeah,
what you do in the future, man. I mean, Air Force, that's tough. You got it.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
I will
course.
I will definitely I will come back and we can do this all over again.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, this is the Nothing to Something podcast signing off.